Okay, so I'm gonna do something a little different when it comes to the Katekyo Hitman REBORN chapters going forward until we reach the next arc. Because remember, I'm always covering the main characters within the daily life arc that are introduced first, and then I'll start to fully cover all the other arcs in its entirety after the first arc. So I'm gonna be starting with chapter 16, introducing Kyoya Hibari, or Hibari Kyoya, whichever one comes first, Kyoya being his first name, right? And I believe there's at least 2 to 3 more characters after him. Of course, there's AK, the one that I think a lot of people enjoyed his character, but of course he was scrapped out of the anime, Longchamp. I'll cover him, and I think he will be the last person, hopefully. And then after that, if not, I think it's Dino. But anyway, whoever is the last person, once I'm covered them, then we get into the juicy first serious arc of the series, okay? And of course, we just out here waiting for some news in terms of Katekyo, and hopefully for a anime, right? So let's get into like chapter 16 of Katekyo Hitman REBORN, introducing Hibari Kyoya. And I will have to say, this man is nothing but pure Black Force energy. He is a menace to society. You heard me today. This man is a menace to society, but we love him. We love Kyoya, right? So we get first introduced to him where like it's after summer break, so now they're in the fall semester of school, right? And there's a meeting with all the other clubs, all the other, I guess, teams in the school of students making up the student body. And somebody was like, hey, how come somebody just reserved the entire, I think it was like a reserve room or something, or a reception room. And everybody's telling her, keep quiet, we don't want the person that hears that to, get agitated and get on your case. And then Hibari makes his appearance, and he's like, is there a problem that I booked the entire reception room? And everybody's no. And then that's when you knew this dude is a problem, because for those who are new, you will come to find out that Hibari is basically the president of the disciplinary committee, the disciplinary group within their school, and they're filled with delinquents. They had that Japanese 70 hairstyle, 80 hairstyle, pompadour, like something looking like Josuke from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, that type of hairstyle. And they were kind of like delinquents because their president was practically a delinquent. This guy was hit first and then hit second after that. There was no questions asked. He just starts swinging hands, okay? Again, menace, right? So Reborn, he's scoping out for potential family members that can join the Vongola group, join Suna's family, right? And he's like, I like this guy. So what he did, he purposely did this whole thing, just set up Suna and everybody. And you're kind of scared for Suna once you realize what's about to happen, right? He's like, hey, he's telling Suna, Gokudera, and Yamamoto, hey, we need like a hideout, somewhere where we can talk about our business, about, mafia dealings and, the mafia business, where all of that stuff, and to gather all the family members together when it comes to meetings. And Suna's like, why do we need all of this? Why do we need a meetup room? All of that stuff. So he's like, hey, how about we go to the reception room? I found a empty room which you guys can have your meetings. You can have a hideout, right? So all 3 of them goes there, and lo and behold, Hibari is already over there. Remember, he basically took the room for himself. What you also don't realize, for anyone new, Hibari is he's a person that loves being by himself. He does not like crowds. If he sees even one more additional person within the same vicinity as he is, it's an instant fight. It's an instant problem. Hibari is a lone, when I mean lone wolf, you guys have never seen lone wolf until you have seen this character by the name of Hibari Kyoya. This man walks alone. He sleeps alone. He eats alone. You cannot be near him. The only things that can probably be near him is younger children, not to be perverted. It's just that he doesn't find them to be troublesome. And Probably on some occasions, some animals, or not. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, Kyoya just does not like people. He really doesn't like people. So he sees Suna and his crew come in and say, hey, this is looking like a nice room. Instantly, Gokudera and Yamamoto realize this dude is a whole problem. Suna was not able to read the room whatsoever. So he's going in there. Kyoya first starts a problem. He's like, hey, Gokudera, you shouldn't be smoking. And I mean, this is something that's always been reoccurring. The anime kind of censored that, but Gokudera does smoke. He smoked, and it does help into a lot of the stuff concerning his character later on. You'll start realizing that. So he snuffs out the cigarettes out of Gokudera's mouth. Gokudera is offended, so he instantly goes on the attack. Kyoya, Hibari, he retaliates. And then Yamamoto's like, hey, calm down. Yo, you're a whole punk. Why are you attacking him? And then Kyoya just goes back to hit Yamamoto, no questions asked. And then he's like, you have an injury. And this is how you know the type of person that Hibari is. He's someone that is, whatever that word would be. He noticed the little details. But you also have to remember, Kyoya, I'm going to use his name interchangeably if you realize that. He is someone, he's hot-headed. He is very hot-headed. Once I start rereading this chapter again, I realize, again, you know, he attacks first, no questions asked, anything. He is not someone that's willing to sit down and talk. He instantly jumps to conclusions while still scoping out the room and realizing little details like Yamamoto holding his, I think it was his right side or his left side due to the injury he sustained on his, it was the right side, his injured right hand, and he was protecting that side. That's when Hibari was able to attack his vulnerability, the side that he was protecting the most, and he knocked out both Gokudera and Yamamoto. So while he is very perceptive about that regard when it comes to his enemies or people he is challenging, Hibari is also hot-headed. He doesn't listen at all. Again, this guy is attack first and attack second. There's no questions. So he does attack Suna though. He does. And this is where Reborn now goes and says, let me shoot Suna so he can fight Hibari, right? Because he's like, what the hell? And then Kyoya is just like, I'm gonna call the ambulance. I'm gonna go back and finish them off so we can get the ambulance. Like, this reminded me so much of like Ichigo and Chad in the early days of Bleach and how they became their friends, where Ichigo saw Chad getting picked on, he was getting bullied and everything, and Ichigo goes to call the ambulance and say, yo, call 5 ambulances. Why? Because there's 5 bodies you gotta go pick up. That was the most, oh my god. But that's what it reminded me of. Like, bro, go watch Bleach before it's, you know, the next season comes out later this year in October. I'm just saying that. But that's besides the point. So Suna gets shot with a dying wheel bullet, and then he goes to go fight Hibari. And then Hibari is like, I'm going to go kill you now. And that's when the situation was about to get very dark. But it was also comedic because Suna took Leon, the little lizard, on Reborn's hat, and Leon turned into a slipper, and he slaps him with the slipper, and that agitated Hibari a little too much to the point where he was about to go kill Suna until Reborn intervened. And then Hibari is just like, oh, so you're strong. Wow. Okay. And Reborn throws a bomb, of course, to distract Hibari and get the others out. Of course, they did sustain some injuries, some scratches, but in indirect way, Reborn got Hibari to join the family. But that's the funny thing, is like, how should I put it? He's part of the family, but he's not really part of the family. Remember, he doesn't like crowds. He doesn't like being around people who he deems as herbivores or people that are weak. So it's just like, sometimes he looks like he's part of the group, but many times more than not, he's not. Okay, but he is part of the family. And probably this chapter may rub some people off, like this guy just like, he instantly just starts attacking people for no reason. But believe you me, he is a fan favorite. You'll end up seeing, he's that type of character where it's just like, anytime he's on screen, you know you're gonna get a good moment with him. You know there's going to be a good fight when he appears, and I can understand why a lot of people liked him for that reason, and also because he's pretty much a really cool character, even though my favorite character personally is Yamamoto and then Suna, but those are interchangeable. But Hibari is like top 3 solely for a lot of reasons. His cool demeanor, yes, hot-headed, but he can read the room, okay, and he could probably give good advice at the same time. But rereading this chapter, I just realized that Hibari is a menace. He is a menace, and I don't know what other word to call him. Black Force energy menace type stuff. Like, he really just doesn't care. He just does his own thing. He rules people with fear and violence, but at the same time, he is the person that you feel the most assured about, the most safest with when it comes to dire situations. So that's how his introduction chapter went about. He beat up our main character and his other characters, his group, and then he indirectly was joining the group. So if any of you read chapter 16 of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, do tell me your thoughts. If you are a Hibari if you are a Hibari fan, tell me how you felt about reading this chapter. If you are new, tell me how you felt about seeing this chapter, seeing this character. What do you think he can bring forth to the table? The links are in the description box. You guys go and check that out. And I'm Kimmy, channel of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye!